Welcome, everyone, to our first of four team breakdowns as we head into the NC2A Women's Water Polo Championship weekend. For our first episode, we are going to be breaking down Hawaii. The Hawaii women's water polo team, the Wahine, took the conference championship for the second year in a row. No surprise, this team is very, very talented, had a great year this year. Started out a little rocky, but really steadied the ship under first year head coach James Robinson and assistant coach Candace Forbeck. We're going to be joined by a couple other captains later, but first let's talk about some of the players to watch. This team is very international. As they say, most everybody is from somewhere other than Hawaii, but a lot of them are actually from other countries. In fact, Emma Verneau, who leads the team with 75 goals, will be the main focal point for the Wahine as they take on Cal in their first round matchup. Bernadette Doyle out of Auckland, New Zealand, leads the team in assists, also has contributed 53 goals. And Jordan Wedderburn out of South Africa has 65 goals, the second leading scorer for the team. Ronnie Perlman, the second leading assist getter at 32, also a dynamic attacking force. She doesn't shoot quite as much, but is very efficient and really sees the pool very well. Watch for her with the ball. Every time she has the ball, she's very, very dangerous. Those four mentioned are just a couple of the standouts there. In the goal, they'll likely have Daisy Logtons, who's been outstanding for them and kept them in games that, quite frankly, I think they're very grateful for the work that she does and is really a lockdown goalie for them. It's going to be a very exciting matchup. Hawaii has played Cal this year already. Obviously, it's better to win at the end than the beginning. And so we'll see if Hawaii can take down the Bears as they try to march towards their first ever NC2A championship. And so coming up right after this, we're going to have Jordan Wedderburn, the captain, as well as Morgan Rios, another captain of the Hawaiian women's water polo team, as they take flight, if you will, going over 6,000 miles or close to 6,000 miles all the way from Hawaii to Indiana. And so looking forward to talking to them right after this.
And here we have Jordan Wedderburn and Morgan Rios, champions of the Big West, coming from University of Hawaii. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you both. Really excited to talk to you guys. You guys have had such a tremendous season this year. You had a huge, huge win at Triton Invitational early on. You've obviously qualified for the NC2A tournament where you're going to take on Cal, a team you've beaten already this year at 12-11. But take us back to the big wins at Triton Invitational and kind of what this season has been like for you guys as you've progressed. I'd love to hear about that. Jordan, Morgan, feel free. It doesn't matter who. You guys can both go.
At the start of the season, we kind of set out goals for ourselves. We always talk about it like before season even starts. And one of our goals was to come top 3 or top 4 at Barbara Calvis. So we knew we had to win the quarterfinal. So we obviously prepared a lot for the first game just to get to the quarterfinal, and then prepared a lot for if we did make it into that game, what we would expect and what James wanted to see from us. So yeah, I think it came down to a lot of preparation and just trusting in what the coaches had scouted and kind of told us to do. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously it worked, right? Tough road. You had Indiana to start. Then you had Cal, who you beat 12-11. You dropped to USC, but then beat UCLA 8-5. Great defense. I mean, that's a pretty strong UCLA team with Pearson and BM Analato as their centers, a person you know exceptionally well. Morgan, talk to us about that journey, right? Like that was very early in the season, 2 huge wins against MPSF teams there. You go on to have a great season. What has that been like for you in your final year here?
It's been everything, like we talk about how important it is to start this journey strong. And we know that there's going to be an adjustment period, and these tournaments are a good test, like when you're young, you're used to playing 4 or 5 games in a weekend. And when you get to be seniors like us, those games, that's a lot. And 2 games in one day, it's intense at this level, especially. But, we knew going into Cal, as Jordan said previously, like we had scouted them and we knew that we had a game plan we had to follow. And thankfully we were able to stick to it exceptionally well. And yeah, USC was a tough one for us. We obviously struggled in it to produce and to make stops, but it was about that turnaround. You know, we knew UCLA is a good team. They have a wonderful coach. They have wonderful athletes they're coming off a huge season last year. But we always know that it's important for us to make out of conference wins. We know that it's going to help us. It's something that we talk about and explain to all of our freshmen and everyone who's new to it. Like, these wins mean everything at the end of the season. And if we can have these wins, it helps us. You know, having that win over Cal surely helped us with our seeding in NCAA tournament now. So it's just like, as much as there's a learning curve, we know that we have to hit the ground running and then use that to carry into conference to win.
For sure. And yes, you've beaten Cal in the past. That was obviously back in like early part of the season, which I think I want to say like early, I guess February, mid to late February there. But Cal's a different team now. You're a different team now, right? You're 2-3 months removed from that, 2.5 months removed from that. They've got Felina Fodoro back, who's very good. She's very good. They didn't have her prior. Talk to us about how maybe the strategy changes for you guys as you head into this matchup, and what is a quarterfinal for you?
Well, maybe Morgan can give you more insight into guarding the center because she's a defender. But
Yeah.
I mean, for us, like, we're also a different team. Like,
Yep.
Gabrielle Doyle just joined our team in January, so she was only there for 3 weeks, and now she's had 4 months with us. Same can be said for, I think, their center, number 9, was also only there for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's definitely just back to the drawing board, back to looking at everything that they've been doing while we've been doing our thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely always a tough battle with Cal, so it's exciting, and it makes you want to work harder and want to learn more and watch more film and just, bring everything that you've got for that first game.
Love the determination.
Talking about the centers, you know, like, Felina, she's an amazing center. She's very active. She's very mobile and, like, definitely a producer for their team. But I think it's as much as it is like personnel scouting, and we have to be ready for her. It's kind of we're going in with the same game plan. We have to get stops at the center. You know, their freshman center, Esther, she's exceptionally good as well. So, you know, like, it's gonna be, I think, sticking to our game plan again. And, like, as much as personnel scouting might change, our overall game plan and sticking to that game plan is gonna stay the same.
That makes sense. Clay, what do you have for him here?
Well, I mean, I love to talk about culture and backgrounds and kind of what you're looking ahead at. We've had some discussions with Hawaii in the past, but would love to reiterate with these new guests, like, how would you describe the culture of the women's, the wahine of Hawaiian water polo and that culture that you're bringing in and out of the pool?
It's something that's, like, unmatched, you know? It's something that's I've never experienced somewhere else. It's something that's so cool to have so many backgrounds and so many cultures and so many different languages, because that plays a big part in the fall of trying to learn that. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's something that truly makes an ohana. I think every team talks about being a family, but when every single person except for one on our team is guaranteed to be at least 5 hours away by flight from their family, it changes the dynamics of, like, this truly is our family and it's all that we've got out here on this island. So we've got to be there for each other, and it makes you want to work that much harder for the person next to you in the pool and, like, guaranteeing those wins and extending the season to be with each other longer.
Yeah, I think we're also the only university program that represents an entire state. So we take that, like, really heavily, I guess you could say. We talk about it a lot, how it's showing the high school kids here and the fans here that all come and support us, you know, just, like, wanting to embrace them as well. And then, as Morgan said, everyone gets the homesickness. Everyone gets the missing of, like, family birthdays or events or, like, something happening with your family. So everyone understands, and, like, everyone has to support each other at some point, you know, like, everyone's going to have a bad day or have a homesick day at some point. So it also just, I think that strengthens our bond as well. And, like, you become each other's best friends because you see each other every day and you know each other inside and out as well. Yeah,
I mean, aside from maybe those who live and come from Hawaii, which, you know, there's not a ton, you guys are kind of all tourists, right? You're all from somewhere else, but you're all at Hawaii. So what you have in common is that you're all at Hawaii. Talk to us.
Fordham.
Similar to Fordham, and there are a lot of internationals here. Is there a conflict in style of play for you guys, or can everybody gel? I know you get a couple of Australians, some Californians, I think a couple of Canadians. Like Esme is, I think, from the Netherlands, and Emma is from France.
Yeah.
And so you're from South Africa, Jordan. It's unique in itself. So like, talk to us about is there any conflict of style, any communication issues? I just, just curious.
I think as for the conflict of style, I guess that comes to play in the fall more because everyone's learning a new system, and also with James coming in, there were a few changes. So everyone was kind of learning a new system this year. Obviously he kept a lot the same, but there were a few adjustments. So yeah, there was that. And then as a freshman, it is just overwhelming coming in and learning an entirely new system. You're learning everything from scratch. So I guess in the fall, it's kind of just trying to get them on the same page. I wouldn't say it's a conflict of style. I guess we just try and embrace everyone's strengths and work together and try and include them in our game plans. And then as for the communication issues, sometimes people get a bit nonverbal when they don't quite understand. And I guess it's just trying to encourage them to say if they don't understand something. For me, I speak English at home as my home language. And when I came to America, all the terms and stuff were different. So it was like learning a new language, you know what I mean? So I can't even imagine actually
totally understand
do it
this.
in a new language. So it's just trying to be patient and help them as much as we can. Yeah.
Not to mention the numbering. The numbering is all different.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just that in itself, right? Yeah. Can be very confusing. Yeah. Go on, Morgan.
I think Jordan said it perfectly. There isn't much conflict of style. I think the biggest thing is like European water polo versus American water polo. There are differences in like defenses and like driving. I think Europeans always get a little bit of a hit when they get hit with drive defense. It's something that's not as common. Or like the smallest differences of like American refs versus European refs. I think in Europe, some things go a little bit more. The refs let a little bit more go, but I think it's not that big of a deal. And in the fall, I think, especially Maureen Cole, our former head coach, she did a really good job of like blending the two and not making it American water polo. It wasn't like she was very open to the suggestions and like bringing in strategies or ideas from other countries or how other people would play back home. And then I think James has done a really good job continuing that and like hearing us out if we really think, as long as we try to do what he's saying and then we believe that it's just not working, they're always open to like hearing us out and being like, well, maybe this one, whether that's Jordan from something she did in South Africa or Esme from something they did in the Netherlands, like we're open to hearing it and trying to make it work. But yeah, communication, that one's going to be one that's hard every single fall for this team. We have so many girls who come in from all over the world, and there are some that English is a bit harder to pick up for them than others.
Yeah, even then, coming from different programs, different styles. Like I've been on teams of all Americans, and we'll have guys from Cal and guys from Stanford and UCLA and San Diego and whatever. We all have different interpretations of what we're supposed to do in certain situations, right? Like rotations are different and whatever else. So the added complexity of different languages, I'm sure, is fascinating to watch. Morgan, Jordan, you're both in your final year here. I'd love to ask the question of like, hey, if you were to leave one piece of advice to your team, Jordan, you go first, and Morgan, what would that be as you guys finish off? And don't want to reflect too early. Your season still has a game or two left here, hopefully. And but have you reflected at all on kind of what you've learned, what you'd like to pass down?
I've obviously learned a lot coming from South Africa, where water polo isn't a huge sport and it isn't one of the biggest or most known about things. And I've learned a lot water polo wise. I've learned a lot about myself as a person. And I think obviously there's the cliche, like 4 years goes so fast. And it really and truly is that. Like my second year, I was wishing away the days, I was like, oh, I can't wait to go home. I miss my family, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, what was I doing, So definitely like just realizing what water polo has given you. I think it becomes easy when you're training so much and you get caught up in the everyday life of like the grind to take for granted what water polo has given you. Like water polo has taken me places that I never would have imagined I would go. like Hawaii. I mean, I never would have imagined I would be living in Hawaii for 4 years. So yeah, I think like not even just my program, like athletes in the NCAA in general, like I wish we would all just take a step back more often and just realize how much our sport has actually given us, and like be grateful for what we have been given and given the opportunity to make friends. Take competition into different
Sure.
places, and just experience life in a different way.
Just appreciate it as it goes
Yeah.
along. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Sometimes we get caught up in, I just need to get through this.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, and it's tough, right? Like we're talking about a tough sport. It can be, and being so far away from home. I've been there. I understand. Morgan, what about you? What would you leave to the program?
I think I would heavily agree on Jordan. You know, there are definitely days where Jordan and I are defending each other in center defender and being like, wow, man, I wish this practice would go by a little bit quicker. But so to really embrace all those moments. But I think something that Jordan and I can both attest to is that like embrace your role. You know, Jordan and I both took on different roles. Like she had never been a center before coming to Hawaii. Now she's a phenomenal center starting for the University of Hawaii. And I was never a defender until last year. My
Wow.
4th season of college water polo was the first year I've ever tried to be a defender. And, you know, but that just took the courage and stuff of Jordan and I both like having those conversations, being like, hey, we want to produce in ways for this team in the water. Like, what roles can we fill? How can we make that happen? And then going beyond and asking for help. Like, I was always scared to ask for help, but it was like when I decided I would try this out, I was like, hey, like I'm going to need help. I have no idea what I am doing in center back. There's times to this day, you know, I asked Jordan like, hey, you do that. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do, you know?
Yeah.
But to like really embrace your role. Everyone has a role on the team, and like the program can only be successful with every single practice player, every single player, like in a game, whether you're playing every minute or not as many as you would like everyone has a role, and it's like so important to fill so a program can be successful. And like just having fun, don't take it too seriously, and just like enjoy those little moments because the years go by really fast.
Yeah, those are two very powerful questions that we can all be asking is what can I be doing better and how can I help? Like what more could I be doing to help whatever program I'm affiliated with? And like program could mean your family, your workplace, your team, right? So it's really all encompassing. And these are the kinds of things that we hope to get out of sport and apply it to other places, right?
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot. Clay and I have been together a long time, and we talk about being prepared, and what could I have done better? And I think it's so hard at times to keep that focus, to be like, I need to keep grinding. I need to get better. But I will say both of you taking on new roles has kind of sparked something in my brain of like, in taking on a new role, you had to relearn or learn a position you weren't naturally or hadn't been, maybe not natural is the wrong word.
They're clearly naturals.
They're clearly, that's what I mean. They're very clearly naturals. But that shift, that paradigm shift in what you're doing and being forced to learn something new probably made you a lot better at it than you would have been if you just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again in the role you had. We see this in other sports. In baseball, you see pitchers become hitters become pitchers, and they take a new mindset, that growth mindset of kind of, I need to get better. I'm not great at this yet. I need to get better. And that work ethic, it proves that the work ethic will outweigh the talent necessarily that you come in with. And that to me is really cool. That's kind of, my mind's exploding a little bit. That's really cool that both of you have taken on new roles. And what a great testament to your team of like, you're willing to do things maybe you weren't doing before you came in, just because that was what the team needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think every athlete just wants what's best for their team. I remember specifically having a conversation with Mo my first year when I was asking about what my role was going to be on the team. I was like typically a 4-5, 1-2 side attacker at home. And she was like, oh, I kind of want you to be on the 4-5 side. Like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I'll honestly play wherever you want me to play. and then ended up in the center somehow my sophomore year.
Oh, really?
And
Tell
I
me about
think
that. Yeah.
what I had to do was just learn from those around me. We had an amazing center defender as well in Emma Van Rossum, and she used to just kill me at practice because I was just playing her the whole time and I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had Bia, and I honestly learned so much from her as well. Like we were roommates last year, and anytime I didn't know what I needed to do or what I had to do, I would ask her, and she, just by watching her, honestly, I learned a lot. Just the way that she would move, and she's also like not the biggest girl in the world, like it's kind of hard to be a center that's 5'8" when there's defenders that are
6'2".
6'4", like
6'4".
Sienna at UCLA. So just like learning her, like how she would move and see how mobile she was. I think I learned a lot from her as well.
Also, I want to piggyback off the fact that it's like anyone who's taking on a new role, it's like not easy. There's plenty of days where Jordan and I have like pure frustration, and like I remember so vividly last year coming off of our fall training, we hit like our Aloha week, which is the first week of it's Hell Week, but we call it Aloha Week here.
Welcome to Hawaii.
Yeah. It's like our January preseason training, and I remember going to Mo on the last day, like absolutely sobbing. Like I was like, I am so frustrated. I have no idea what I'm doing. And like in the fall, it was a lot of like new stuff for me because like I'm a very physical center defender, and Mo was like, I'm not sure how referees are gonna take to you, like. And in the fall, we don't have referees to know, so like. She was like, they could exclude you every single possession. And, like in my head, I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. And like, we're about to start a new season. We have no idea what's going on. And I just remember going to her and like sobbing for like 10 minutes being like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like, is this right? But I'm sure Jordan's had
that's how a lot of players feel in general with officiating though.
Yeah, I'm sure Jordan's the same, like, what in the
no
heck
idea
is
what
going
I'm doing
on?
anymore.
But
Yeah, I mean, even if you played the role your whole life, there's sometimes
it's
like
I don't know how to play this game.
Those moments.
Yeah, and look, if it's any consolation, my wife played Division I. She played with the U.S. team. Like, she was a very good player. If you asked her the rules, she'd be like, "I don't know the rules." Like, she's like,
you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's too inconsistent at times. Well, this has been amazing. I'd love to like ask one or two more questions and then turn it over to you guys to just whatever you guys want to talk about. But you've got Cal coming up back to the NC2As. This will be your last tournament for both y'all. What are you looking forward to most?
Oof, that's a loaded question. I'm not looking forward to the flight. I'll be honest about that.
Well, that's another question we should talk. You guys have to travel.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, it's like what 3,000 miles one way per game. So you're talking at least 6,000 miles a trip. Where UCLA drives 10 miles to USC and flies 500 miles to Stanford. Right? These aren't equitable. These are not the same things.
We get those those freaking flyer miles. It definitely took some adjusting. But a lot of our goals are international, so I feel like we're quite used to traveling far to get to places. I mean, I live exactly halfway across the world, so the furthest point away from Hawaii, that's where I live.
You can't get any further away without starting to come back.
Yeah, exactly. So, flying is love-hate relationship, I think, for all of us. And everyone has their little routines. Everyone has their, I go to Starbucks before the flight, I get a matcha, then I put my eye mask on and I watch my movie or I do my homework. Morgan has her little snack box that she makes. So I think it's kind of just like making everything fun, because it can get a bit tedious sometimes standing in the TSA line and taking your shoes off and laptops out, but I mean, we could be sitting on a bus for 8 hours too, so yeah. Maybe we have an advantage going into Indiana because we're used to traveling so much. Who knows?
Well, is it 6 hours time difference?
Yeah.
So you're leaving on a red eye at 11 or something like this, and it's already 5 a.m. in Indiana. So by the time you get there, it's like evening in Indiana, like afternoon, like 4.
Yeah.
we were trying to calculate some things, and
Yeah.
by the time we're practicing in Indiana, it's like 2 a.m. here in Hawaii. And by the time we're going to sleep, it's like 4 in the afternoon here in Hawaii. Like,
Epic.
it's going to be an adjustment, but
It is for sure, and we want to wish you all the best, and good luck versus Cal in that first matchup. Morgan, anything you're looking forward to in particular? Jordan went with negative of I'm not looking forward to the
Hey,
but
sometimes it's just as nice to know what you want as it is what you don't want.
it's important for
sure.
I think I'm really looking forward to this like last hurrah with this team, with this program. I've given the last 5 years. I think I have spent more hours at the DKAC the last 5 years than anywhere else combined. And I'm so excited, like we are really ready to go for Cal. Like we want it so bad. They obviously ended our run last year a bit shorter than we wanted. And they're a really good team, and they do play at a fast pace, like comparing MPSF and Big West, it can be a little bit difficult. The way they play is much faster than I think maybe Big West plays a little bit more traditionally with centers and more of a front court instead of a transition. But James talks about it with us all the time, that Long Beach is a transition team, and we had a good game against them in our Big West final, and we were able to prove to ourselves that when we make the right decisions, we can stop transition teams. And I think if we can carry on with that, it should be really fun, and I look forward to hopefully going further than we did last year, but really just like making this a trip to remember. It's going to be a trip to remember no matter what, because it's Indiana, but to make it a trip to remember, like water polo wise, and like the last hurrah with these girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, you want to stop transition, just score.
Yeah, there we go.
I always say that.
Get the ball to Jordan, draw the exclusion. The best defense is a good offense.
Good offense.
There it is. This is.
I'm gonna go to James' app this afternoon. I'm gonna say we're just gonna score every single front.
possession.
I figured it out.
If we score, they can't counter. We just have to line up.
Hey, we were talking it over, and we just think we score every time.
Yeah, why not? And good luck, and we hope it's an exciting game, and we wish you all the best. At this point in the interview, we like to say, hey, look, the studio's yours. Any questions you have or anything you'd like to share with the viewers, we'd like to open it up for you, and so this is your opportunity.
I just want to say thanks to my parents for everything that they've done for me. Always have to give them a shout out. No, I don't have anything else to say there.
It's fine. All good. Morgan.
I think I'll back that. It would look a little bit bad if I didn't back that. So I love my parents. I love my twin sister's been out here these last 5 years with me, trucking along this student athlete experience with me. But I also want to hit anyone playing at a younger age. Like, we want you guys to continue. We want to continue to grow the sport. We love to grow the sport. So keep at it. And yeah, it's such a fun experience to be a college athlete. So I wish it upon all the little kids playing right now. And yeah.
I love it. And it is. It's a very special opportunity to be a collegiate athlete. Clay and I talk about this all the time, how we miss those days. And, I know you guys had weights at 7 a.m. this morning. What I would give to be in a weight room with Clay and working out again. It's one of the best times of my life. Sounds like you guys have really enjoyed it. We want to thank you for your time and coming on the podcast. It's been wonderful having you. I got to tell you, we got to interview Candace earlier this year. We're now getting an interview at the Hawaii Wahine. It's I'm digging it. I think it's awesome. And so wishing you guys all the best and good luck at the NCAA finals next weekend in Indiana.
Thank you so much.
All right. Travel safe, guys.